Can you talk about your tenure as the DPP mission in the United States? It's like decades, right?
Well, like I said, for 10 years I worked as a kind of personal consultant to Choi Ren and B. Kim and the DPP. And then in 2013, we opened the mission. The reason we opened the mission was that in 2011, I was working, as I say, as a personal consultant, and Tsai Ing-wen came to Washington. She was then the candidate for presidency in 2011, right? So I set up a number of meetings for her in Washington. And one of the first meetings we had was with 2 members of the National Security Council. This is now during Obama's time, right? 2011. And the 2 members were Danny Russell and Evan Medeiros. We had breakfast with them. Tsai Ing-wen has become a very forceful politician, but at that point, she liked to speak in general terms. Let's see, Russell and Medeiros had some hard questions for her that she was, not that she wasn't answering them, but she was giving them a broader sense. They weren't satisfied with her answer. She'd also worked for Lee Dong-wei, as you know, and Liang Guolun was something that she had worked on. So there was a lot of concern that maybe she would be more radical and would cause disturbance in the cross-trade situation. The NSC went back and reported to their bosses. And that afternoon, the Financial Times produced an article saying a senior official said that we have met with Tsai Ing-wen and we have distinct doubts that she is either willing or able to maintain the peace and stability across the strait, which is a pretty heavy condemnation and was quite upsetting to Tsai Ing-wen and myself. B. Kim was with her at the time. So because there was this tension between the DPP and the U.S. administration, Saw Jin-chong and Wu Zha-xue had decided we should set up a mission to try to educate the U.S. a little bit more about what the DPP was all about.
You talk about the time when you accompany Xu Xinliang back to Taiwan.
Xu Xinliang, as you know, was not in Taiwan when the crackdown, I think that's what happened to him, I forget how, but was in the States after the crackdown on the Formosa incident people in 1979. I got to know him because he was working sometime and came into Washington, and he wanted to go back to Taiwan, and there was a group of people who were going to accompany him as a protective measure because everybody knew that the KMT was going to try to grab him because he was a leader. So we went on the plane from Washington and we got as far as Tokyo. And in Tokyo, the airlines would not let Xu Xinliang on the plane. But they would let me and 3 other people. They did leave us on the plane. Lynn Miles was one person. We're flying into Taoyuan Airport. And Lynn Miles, who was a very forceful guy, he said to me, I was supposedly the head of this group, right? He says to me, okay, when they try to land, I'm going to open the door and jump out onto the airport. I said, no, please. Anyhow, we got there. There were still a huge number of people all thinking that maybe Xu Xinliang was going to come. So they stopped us at customs, but they never really stopped us from going into the country. So that's kind of the story of what happened. 應該普通你若看這個，你是講反。
Yeah.
你這個聲是唔是啊？你話真濟人喺台灣有迄個聲反。不過老師甲我講啥？講，阮要派你去別來關有真濟聲平，有無？所以要予你平，做你的聲。講你是實在是，較親像教會的名 right? Brilliant doctrine or something like that, right? Bright, 講定係講道理的理。So that's where I got my name. The teachers gave it to me.
Do you like it? At that time, did you like it?
Well, at that time I didn't. It's kind of hard to say. You have to do the nasal sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, sure. I mean, it's become part of me.